I'm always a fan of developers who try an experimental, unique, or interesting spin on an existing genre, and Keyclash is certainly one of those. This is a tower defense game, and it's a roguelike, but what it does is turns your keyboard into turrets. And so everywhere where a key or a letter or a number or a space or the enter or the control and shift keys would be, they're now placements where you can put in a turret to defend waves of enemies coming from the top of screen down to try and breach your keyboard and reach the other side of the screen. Think of it a little bit like a vertical Plants vs Zombies, but it's in a roguelike fashion. So once you complete a certain wave, depending on how many keys you've got left that survived that wave, that will turn into cash, which you can then spend on RNG cards that will generate with different prices on to either buy more turrets to slot into your keyboard slots, upgrades for the turrets that you've got, and then there's perks that are really powerful that tilt and stilt your layout and weapon arsenal in certain directions, and they become critical to your success. Originally with Keyclash, I would recommend starting off with the basic layout where every key is available to you on your keyboard, because what it does is it teaches you about the three different types of turret. The main one, which sends out one bullet but can kind of focus in on what's nearest to you. There's another one that just shoots two bullets straight upwards vertically but can't go outside of its own range. And then there's another one that shoots out three bullets, one straight ahead and two diagonally to the side. Now, the second and third options aren't homing in on anything, and so I found them limited in use, but there are specific areas where they would be quite helpful, normally when they're sitting slightly diagonally behind something else that is more of a homing missile. And so between those you could kind of use the diagonal ones especially to be able to catch various enemies that are coming down from the top of the screen. Those three towers are all that you've got, and it's all about the placement and then what you do with your upgrades and crucially your perks. Now, the upgrades will add on 5% damage, reload speed, range of shooting and health for each of your turrets, because as enemies come down from the top of screen and start touching your turret, they'll just keep bashing it and it will kind of turn a shade of orange, then red, then just disappear for that round. It will reappear again next round so long as you survive, but very quickly you'll find that if you've left a piece of your area exposed, quite often they'll then continue to funnel down and they'll be chipping away at your health points whilst you're trying to make sure that you kill enough enemies to survive a wave. It's not about killing all of the enemies, it's just killing enough so that you then reach the top of the big heart on the top left hand side of the screen with the amount of enemies you've killed versus whether or not the enemies have taken away all of your health first. And so you need to think about trying to cover as much of the environment as possible and not leaving weak points. Alongside that, the perks are crucial and you unlock more of them the more that you play. And in a weird kind of UI thing, they're given a 3, 4 and 5 star rating, but there's no 1 or 2, which slightly confused me. And some of them will be things like whenever a bullet hits an enemy, it will push it back slightly. Or it might be that it gives you 50% speed of reload increase, or 50% more health, or 50% more range. Or it could be that actually the bullet penetrates and goes through an enemy and can hit a second one. Or it could be that there's a 5% chance that the bullet will kill a basic enemy on impact, or a critical attack will happen. And all of this can be stacked in the 10 slots that you have. So in theory, you could buy 10 times that 5% death chance to mean that every second bullet potentially could instantly kill something. Similarly, you can also do the rebound back 10 times, or I would quite often use the penetrating bullets so that they would push through, and because enemies quite often just come in blanket lines down the screen, that's incredibly helpful to make sure that your bullets have proper impact and can not just be one-trick ponies or one-kill ponies. All of this is incredibly helpful. You'll unlock these power-ups the more that you play, because every wave that you clear every 15 waves that you clear in total across the game then allows you to spin a wheel to unlock a new perk until they're all unlocked. And they'll appear RNG in the shop, where you get to choose a random upgrade, a random perk, and or a random spin of a wheel to get 1, 2 or 3 turrets to therefore place onto your map. The different layouts are great because some of them will be all of the keyboard, some of them will be just the bottom line, leaving the spacebar really exposed because it's really big and long. Some of them will just go down the side, some of them will be in the shape of eyes or a smile, or like the crater, which kind of goes all the way around the outside and nothing in the middle, and they all have their own unique twists on it. However, what I will say with Keyclash is that the game has no save point at all. And so I was still going up to like nearly wave 100. I'd spent an hour and like 20 minutes trying to get through the game, and then I'd have to leave, and I'd not died. And so I hadn't seen the admittedly very small selection of enemies that are in this game fully reveal themselves. I didn't feel like I was in a position where I could lose, particularly because of the way how I'd organised my perks quite often. And so it felt like I was running into a stalemate quite often in this game, where actually I just run out of time and would have to leave the game rather than end by a game over or a completion of something. And because the game is relatively slow as well, there was up until today only one speed. The developer has now added a 2-time speed, which I think will help this issue a little bit. Quite often you kind of max out at around wave 60 to 70, where you've got the 10 perks that you need, the 30 upgrades that you've got, and you've filled up all of your turrets of what turrets you want to have in the game. And so you're just left waiting until the game eventually will catch up and kill you with overwhelm. And so it feels incredibly lopsided. And it's from that perspective that Keyclash doesn't quite deliver on its full promise, whilst being an interesting and experimental twist on the tower defense genre. If that could be resolved in future patches, I would recommend Keyclash far more than what I currently do. It starts off with some really interesting foundations with admittedly limited tools at your disposal in terms of turrets, but the perks kind of are really where the game's at. It just then loses its way once you've bought everything, and then you're just set waiting for something to happen and you to die, or for you to run out of time, and that doesn't quite feel like it's balanced in a way that means it respects the player's time. Keyclash, though, is out now on Steam, and well done to the solo developer for finding a truly unique way to take on tower defense.